I've asked these guys to come because essentially what they have done extremely successfully is they have moved their business from selling insurance, which is exciting as watching paint dry, right? To being a media company, comma, insurance agent entrepreneurs.
The quicker you understand in this room that you are a media company, comma, real estate agent, once you make that shift, everything changes.
So I want to just have Matt and Zach come up for about a half hour, and I want to get into their heads about, how did they make this change, but let's get granular with it. Like, how can you guys leave this room today? What can you put in your business today that can start to set you up to be a media company / one of the best real estate agents in the marketplace? So again, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you. I feel very honored to just be exposed to really strong professionals like yourself. And frankly, we don't know and we don't have all the answers, but we're constantly investing every single day and trying to get better. And I think that's the key, is like always expanding, always investing. And
I thought we were here because we had all the answers. Isn't this the expert panel?
About 6 to 9 months ago, we decided that we couldn't wear more than a couple hats. We really couldn't. And you guys probably all can relate to that, like how much you have to do in your business. And when we really shed a lot of the responsibilities and really delegated a ton out to our team, it allowed especially Zach to really take the role of social media and dive all in on it and spend 120% of your time in it. And I think that's why we've seen a major click. It's not that social media is a sliver of his focus. It's a massive component. It's like main focus.
I mean, these guys could run this whole mastermind and just talk the whole time about what they've done to their business to allow for this, right? To allow 120%. And literally, I texted someone or emailed someone on his team at 8 o'clock this morning for Insurance Finder that I got 6 minutes later. I mean, that takes you got to have your systems down in order to go out, business develop, add back in.
What you guys do is so interesting, but when you talk about real estate, it's not. And that's what the same thing for insurance. What we do is so interesting, but the second we talk about auto and home insurance, it's not. And it's funny about that. And so relating it back to your own experience, I mean, when you guys do stuff on social media, just asking a general question, what gets more comments, likes, etc. when you talk about yourself, your family, your kids, your dog, a funny story that happened, or when you post a listing?
Kids.
The dog.
Yeah, right?
Dogs by far.
Yeah, you go face to camera a lot,
Yep.
and you show what you're doing, and it's very rarely real estate. I saw you joking about moving day the other day, and like that's the kind of stuff that people engage with. But the key that Gary always talks about, and just to get a little granular right away, is the reason why you do that is so people like and engage, because once they do, they see your stuff more. That's the algorithm. But none of that happens unless you're engaging with them.
We focus 95% of our time on what we can share from a branding perspective. Sharing the wins of our colleagues, sharing the wins of our partners, highlighting successes and challenges that were overcome in different industries, talking about completely unrelated topics, but that might be pretty exciting. And it's a more authentic, genuine approach, and people can relate to it a little bit better when you're looking at like even dogs, stuff like that.
Every single day, 5 people either message, like private message, or comment on their page. 5 people, new people every single day. So you think about it, now what's the short-term effect might not be big, but the compound effect of 100 days messaging 5 people, you've connected with 500 people in 100 days. 500 people have wrote back to you, somehow, some way. They're going to like one of your photos, they're going to message you back or whatever. Most importantly, your profile gains in their perspective. So all of a sudden, you're naturally, organically, no paid advertising going up in their feed because you message them and because Facebook has an algorithm, as does Instagram. It changes all the time. But right now, if you like on Instagram or like on Facebook, it's a point. If you comment or get commented on, it's 5 points. And if you share, it's 15. So if you think about that algorithm, by just liking some people's stuff, you're not really doing enough. But commenting is 5x liking. So if you get comments or give comments, and like you said, you got to give first. So give 5 a day, 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 and all of a sudden, man, you've given 500 comments in 100 days. Imagine how many you got back. And then maybe when you finally do that right hook and you post a listing, you get a shit ton of comments.
Just having the courage and then getting out of your own head and not being self-conscious and all that. How did you guys overcome those obstacles?
Well, part of it was diving in.
We both are dying to speak.
I tend to be more in the background sometimes.
Sure.
Well, putting it back to you, what are you an extrovert about? Like, what are you passionate about outside of like real estate? Like, what gets you going?
My family, of course.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get. But not only that, when something like your kids come in or your dog is taking a poop in the background of the yard, which has happened to me, that gets more attention than anything because it's real, it's authentic, it's
you're human.
grassroots,
Yeah.
and people can relate to that.
Stay tuned for second
Yeah.
43
Yeah.
for Oscar to
Say
come
thanks
in.
for that, Lou.
Yeah.
You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. You know, that's a simple Zig Ziglar quote. And it's true. People who don't take step one never take step two. You just got to start. And a lot of you already have, which is great.
Start to move through your world, figuring out how you can send more business to the people that has the ability to send business to you. I'm talking plumbers. I'm talking contractors. I'm talking people that know people that are probably going to buy and sell. And now you're going to fill your whole corral with fishermen and not worry about the fish. The fish come when you can support the fishermen.
We want to be, when people are buying real estate, the go-to, best in the world, literally. And I think that's one piece that I haven't seen as much in the real estate community, of focus on, this is what I'm going to be the best in the world. I'm not going to be the best realtor in the world. I'm going to be the best realtor for whatever. And whether that's divorce attorneys, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna be the best realtor in the world for divorce attorneys. So even if they're in a BNI somewhere, and the divorce attorney's in a BNI or they're in a networking group, I'm gonna be known in that community in Massachusetts as the go-to realtor when people are getting divorced. And then design an entire process and hyper-focused structure around providing value to divorce attorneys, finding out what their pain points are, like we did for loan officers, finding out how to give them value. Whatever profession it is you think could be an influencer, be the best in the world for that group.
One of the best things about having a business page is you can create algorithms based on your followers, and you can break it down and you can do certain things. You can advertise only to people who engage with you. You can advertise only to people who have liked old photos. You can't do any of that on personal. You can break down by income. You can go to Redding and break down every single income bracket. You can break down people who live in Redding and work at EMC. You can break down everything. None of that you can do on personal.
Spend some time designing a simple, repeatable strategy that you know you can stick to. If you can make this complex strategy that takes hours every day, it's probably not going to be something you stick with. But if it's simple, if it's focused, and if it's repeatable, and then literally section off time every day where you're doing it. Like, put it in your calendar, block off an hour, block off 20 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever, and make sure you just do it consistently. I think that, more than figuring out how to do it perfect or making sure you're fully comfortable or making sure that it's as maximized as it possibly can be, is much more important. I think one of the fears too is people think that social is going to take a long, like so long to like turn around and benefit, right? It doesn't. Like, how fast did it January till now happen? So fast, right? Well, in the last 6 months, we've seen tremendous social growth from followers, liking, engagement, video engagement, advertising, like the power of the ROI, top of mind stuff. It's all very powerful in just 6 months. So it happens quickly. As long as you're, as you said, you stick to it.
We're all agents. There's no point in being a secret agent. So let everyone know what you do.
I'd go back through your personal social media today. Like, I mean, it keeps everything, right? Like, go back and really look at where you get the engagement and where you don't.
You can look for yourself. Look at your listings. it's tough. You get like 1 like, and it's you're doing the right thing, right? But nobody cares why, and that's for you guys to find out. Because maybe if you take this strategy we're all talking about, maybe you get 100 likes next time you put a list, because you don't do it that often. And someone's like, oh shit, that's a sick property. You know, it's just a little different. Or maybe you get realtors in California because you've been engaging with them because you're doing this 5 engagement thing, that they comment on your listing. And then it just gets boosted up. They're not gonna buy your listing, but they're commenting. Cool, go comment on theirs too. Go talk about how you wish we had those sunsets or something. You know, just go engage. And they'll engage back with you, and then your listings get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I mean, I love what you guys are up to. I really love that, you know, there's no one in your space, and 2 really in this community that I'm seeing that have really put everything out there and have really been forward thinkers and leaders like you guys have, and what you've done to support my business. And again, it's not always just referrals, right? It's not always 1-for-1 type of thing, but it's really being intentional about leading with give, and you guys have absolutely mastered that, and we appreciate it.
Hey Randy, it was good to see you. Oh God.
Bubble on, baby.